Okay, I'm here with my mom on the phone on the call, and we're gonna be talking about my hacker history, how I accidentally caused the first DDoS denial of service, distributed denial of service on a 9/11 system in 1983. So that's the show has started, Mom. This is my mom. She's dealing with hecticness at her house. Um,
I'm multitasking.
Yeah, you're multitasking. So from your point of view, I had a show and I talked about the hacker history, about how I was, and here's the video right here on my screen about how I actually did this thing, and some people didn't believe me. They're like, no, that didn't happen. It's like, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna get my mom online, and she's not
I'm a witness, and he is not my favorite child. So
she has no reason to lie about this. There's no money
exactly, and you're not
involved.
paying me anything.
Not like you're getting paid anything. Yeah.
No, no, not at all. So just a little bit of history with Chris. Uh, Back, I don't know, probably 80s, um, maybe late 79, everything. This kid was always curious about how things worked. And so, because there wasn't a lot of resources out there and there wasn't anything such an internet or whatever, he kind of like worked to figure things out on his own. So, one of his favorite trips that he asked for was to go to our local dump. And this dump was not just for garbage, but was for anything that people wanted to get rid of. And it was exactly 1 mile from our house. So, it wasn't a big deal for me to get in the car and then take them up to the dump.
Yeah, this was
And
before
then
it was
pile up the
restricted.
back of my.
Yeah,
Huh?
this is before they had all these restrictions about what there was like
Oh yeah.
way lawless. It was like completely
Oh yeah.
lawless.
Yeah. You could find anything in there. So anyway, we pile it up in the back of my car and come home, and then he'd entertain himself for hours and days and stuff. So in 1983, we were moving at that time to another state. And so that was in 83. So what happened was that my house looked like a cyclone had hit it because I had boxes all over the place. And so I was working full time. And so the kids were, in school, out of school, summertime. So I was packing up this house. So
Yeah, we were out of
I'm in
school this
bed, very
summertime. Yeah.
peacefully sleeping. Did you interrupt me for something?
Oh, go ahead. I was because we were. It was definitely summertime. That's why I had all the time to
Right,
mess about.
right. Okay, it was summertime. So, so anyway, I'm asleep in my bed, and all of a sudden I hear kind of like background noises and stuff with a lot of bang, 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 bang on my door. And I was a little concerned because one of our neighbors did not have a telephone at all. They refused, but just because of issues that they
Yeah, we
did not
lived
have a phone.
way out in the backwoods of Maine. We're not really backwoods.
Oh yeah,
It
no,
was out
not
there.
backwoods. We were like
Medium
several
woods.
miles from in
Medium
town.
woods.
But we are on large acreage of
Yeah,
land, right? So I mean, it would take if I had to go to my neighborhood, my neighbors for a walk. I'd have to it was a 2 minute walk,
yeah. At least.
to one of these little tiny side unpaved roads, and we had a very very long driveway because the house set back up a ways from the highway. So it was just a 2 lane road. So anyway, I get awakened to all this bang bang bang, people shouting, and so I grab my bathrobe on and I go down the hallway, and we have very, very large windows, which I kept open. I didn't need to have any blinds or stuff across them or anything. And our whole driveway and all the parking places up near the house was lit up like a Christmas tree. Blue lights, white lights, spinning lights, spotlights, you name it. And there was fire trucks and police cars and other type of equipment all in my yard. I'm thinking, what in the world's going on? Is my house on fire and I don't know? So I go to the door and I see it's officers and everything. And what's going on? And they said, are you in danger? Are you in danger? Are you okay? And I'm going like, yeah, I'm okay. I'm like, are you sure? Because you keep calling 911. I said, I've never dialed 911 in my life. I never dialed 911. Yes, yes, we have tracked down multiple calls. Are you okay? And I said, yes. Is there anyone else here in the house with you? I said, my children sleeping? Is there anybody? I said, no, it's just me. well, do you mind if we come in? I said, okay, come on. I mean, come on in. I mean, I just don't understand what's going on with this 911. So our phone, we had a phone right in the kitchen, hung up on a
And
wall
mom,
with this long thing they called a,
you're also a registered nurse, so you were like you're not
oh yeah,
yeah, so
oh yeah,
you're familiar
yeah,
with talking to professional
yeah,
people
absolutely,
and these particular
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah. But I was just saying, we had this thing that hung on the wall and you had to stick your finger in holes and then you had a long wire. Well, never
Oh, you're
mind.
talking about telephone.
So I digress. I digress. So anyway, I let them in and they said, you're okay. And I said, yeah, and they're looking me over. Is there anyone hiding in the house? Is there someone? I'm going like, no. Well, where are your children? And I said, in their beds asleep. I said, well, they were.
It's like
So they
2
said, they're
a.m., right?
shining the
2
flashlights
or 3
around. They're
a.m.
walking around because we have a kind of a big open floor plan house. And, and they said, do we, where the kids okay? And I said, I assume, but, let's go look at them. So I said, I really don't understand. I said, this is a lot of, like ambulances and, everything is here. So I walk down and, child asleep. So I go and we knock on Chris's door, which is on the end of the hallway on the left-hand side. And I open up the door and Chris is asleep in his bed with his favorite blankie. And you were how old then?
13 or just turned 14?
1183.
Just turned 14? Or
Yeah,
just turned 15,
13.
just turned 15 or
Because your
14?
birthday was in August still.
Yeah, I think I
So
just
it was
turned
before that.
13.
Yeah. So anyway, he's asleep. But so right alongside of his bed was his desk, and on that desk is where he kept all of his gadgets and creations and stuff that he was working on. I never ever touched it. He was the type of kid that if you did touch it, he would know you touched it. So
might get
mom, quit
shocked too,
cleaning
so.
stuff, leave it alone. So anyway, I'm looking at it, and in the background of this noise in this now quiet bedroom is this click, 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 click sound, which I didn't know what it was coming from, and at that time it wasn't important. So anyway, the guy, and I said, let me wake him up. And so I gently
Did you have any
touched
inkling at that
Chris,
point that I was involved with this
gently.
paper at all?
Yeah.
Did you think I was
So
involved somehow?
yeah, so you turn over and you wake up and you
Well,
look and I'm going like,
hold on a second. At this point in the story, do you think I'm involved with this thing at all? Is it putting it together in your mind? Or
no.
just okay.
I have no idea. I have no idea that there's a connection between you and the click, 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 or any of this stuff that you've got on the desk. I have no idea. So I wake you up and I go like, Chris, I said, the police and the firemen are here and everything. And I said, there's something going on. And I said, are you up to something? What is there something going on? And so they kept lighting the flashlight and everything. So the police officer was close to me looking at.
I was like trying to do the stuff. I was, they're like putting the light right in my eyes. I'm like,
yes, yeah. So they had a flashlight right on you and stuff. And I said, Chris has been in bed asleep. I said, if you're telling me that this has been going on for a couple of hours, I said, I or less, I don't remember what they said exactly with the time frame, but I said, he's been in bed since like 10:30. So, and this was, I think it was about 2 in the morning, 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. So anyway, the fireman that was there was kind of like looking at was on the desk. And so the police officer saying, well, we're going to have to give you like not a ticket, but like a summons. You're going to have to, because this has caused a disruption and the use of resources. And I'm going like, oh my God, they're going to take my child away from me? Oh my God. And I said, Chris, what do you know what's going on? And I'm going like, you have to go to the sheriff's office and stuff. And so Chris is like, huh? What did I do? What did I do? He didn't know what he did. So the fireman that was standing off to the side near his desk, he kept looking and he said to the police officer, the sheriff, and he says, wait a minute, slow down. Listen, I went to see this movie recently, War Games. I saw this. The guy did it. And the cop turns around saying, I don't know what you're talking about. What going to see a movie has anything to do with this situation on hand. And so
He's
I'm
talking
going
about
like,
his
I'm going like,
review. He wants to give a movie review, Mom.
"There's something."
And
And I said,
also, by the way, I did not know what was going on at this time.
no,
I had no
no,
idea what was the problem, why they were
no,
there.
no,
I
no,
had never
no.
envisioned that this would be an issue.
No, you had no clue at all, and you looked like
I
you
did
had
not
no
see
clue at
this
all, which is
coming.
very different for you. So, so
Because,
anyway,
Mom, at this point, in this by this time, I had been doing this for night after night after night after night for weeks, before this happened.
yes, exactly. So I'd have to go out and find out when we really did take you to the movie. So anyway, so this movie, so the fireman said, "No, wait a second, slow down. I saw this. This is what happened on this movie." And I'm going like, and then they finally said, "War games." And I thought, war games? And I said, "Yeah." I said, as soon as that movie hit town, I took my kids to see war games. And the guy says, "Yeah, that's where they did this." Well, I'm not understanding all of the stuff that went on in that movie at all. Had no idea. I'm still hooked up with that thing that you put your finger in and you
The
rotate
telephone?
it on a wire and you put it up to your ear. I had no idea about this. So anyway, and I said, "Yeah, we took them to that movie." And I said, "My gosh," I said, "I remember Chris walked out of that movie and he's like, I can do that. Oh, I can do that. Mom, can you take me to the dump tomorrow? Mom, Mom, oh, I can do that. Yes, Chris. Yes, Chris. We'll go to the dump
I
again."
need a relay.
And so the fireman is like telling the police officer, "Okay, let's calm this down. Let's calm this down."
What is going on? Oh, a little froze up
Like,
there.
Chris, can you stop this? Because I'm ready. I'm going to unplug everything. So the look in Chris's face when anytime that I said I'm going to unplug something was disastrous. So when, so anyway, they left. They went all around the house, made sure I was okay. And the fireman said, "I know what this is. I know what this is." And the police officer stuck to his guns and said, "You're going to have to bring your kid down and blah 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 and blah blah blah." I said, "Okay, do whatever you have to do." I said, "We're not like moving tomorrow. We're going to be here." So I got this letter or a summons or something to go to the mayor with you, not for me, but with you. And so at that point in time, you went in, and I was told that you were going to have to do community service because of the disruption and use of resources that were because and it was not but my telephone service kept calling numbers. So back then in this area, we only had 5 numbers to dial to reach someone.
Right.
So when Chris had set this up to this auto dial thingy, every time it hit 9 and it went 9, 0, and then it would go 9, 1. 911 and then any other digits.
Yeah, I was counting up from 0. So in our town,
Yes.
you didn't have to do the full phone number. You just
No,
do the first.
You didn't have to do
last
area
digit,
code or anything. No,
I
you
went
just
through
did
all
the numbers.
5. So I went through the 5s. So it was like 510001, 510002. So I went through the 5s for weeks. And then I was like, I gotta go. I'm not getting nothing here. So I got a little greedy. I was like, I'm gonna switch over to the 9s because it was 729 was the prefix, and all we did was the 9 part. And so I did the 9. And I did 1,000 of them. So I was going for a couple days. And then that night I hit the 9,000, 1,001, and then I hit when I hit the 1,100.
Yeah.
That's when.
Yeah.
That's when all hell broke loose.
So at that point in time, Chris tells me I was just looking for other people to talk to.
The computer.
And I say, out in the kitchen on the wall is this thing that you pick up a receiver, hole is connected to a wire, and you put your finger in those little holes, and you want to talk to somebody. So what are you doing? So he tried to explain to me. I didn't know, but he got to go in with the police officer. I think it was the sheriff, and then with the town mayor.
Yeah.
And what came out of this was the identification of a flaw in that communication system for emergency calls, 911, because they only had one dedicated line. And we kept using it and using it and using it and using
Yeah,
it
and they were like, "You're
until
going
it
to cause
finally
a lot
got
of
to
problems."
my
I'm like, "Hey,
numbers.
man, this seems like a flaw in your system that anyone could,
Yeah,
not using a computer, just dial the number from 5, 6 different locations over and over and over again, and you're going to be locked out of your system." Sounds like a you problem. He's like, "Oh."
yeah. Well, I don't think you were that adult to speak
No, I
like
wasn't,
that,
but in
but I'm
my
sure you
mind, I was doing that.
communicated.
I just wanted
Oh,
to get
yeah,
out of
yeah.
there. I
But you,
just wanted to
yeah,
leave. I was like, I don't want to be around these people. But in my
I'll
mind, I
never
was going like,
her again.
this is you blaming this on me? I'm like, dude, you should be not
Yeah,
blaming a 14-year-old child for the security flaws in your system. I'm sorry.
exactly,
But
exactly.
I didn't say
So of
that.
course,
I didn't say
because
that.
you know,
I was like, yes, sir.
no,
Whatever you say, sir.
yeah. So I worked in the local hospital, so I knew what the importance of that 911 call and then using those resources.
Yeah, of course.
So I figured, boy, we're in trouble here. But as it turns out, I don't think you had to do. I don't remember you doing
There
any
was no
community
charges.
service or
There
anything
was
after that.
threats.
There's no
There
charges.
was threats of charges, but there was no charges. I didn't do any time or anything like that. And
No,
they
no,
didn't
no.
pay
It
a
was
certain
nothing
amount
like
of that.
that. But did they
But they
end
were
up
hinting
paying
around like it
you?
was my fault. It was like, wait a second. I exposed something you were completely unaware of that was a major flaw in your system
Yes.
that, since,
Yeah.
I'm sure my little case study was one of the only
Yeah.
reasons why they upgraded their 9/11 system right after that. They upgraded
Exactly.
it. So that was no longer an
Exactly.
issue. So, and did I get a
Yeah.
thank you letter? No.
I was just wondering if they paid you anything as a
No.
consultant.
No, those bastards. They made it seem like I was a big problem. Like, no, I solved the problem, senor.
You know, they realized when I talked to them after that, they realized that this was something that was not even considered.
Right.
That someone and the way that it was dialing, so that steady like click, click,
Yeah.
click was not the same thing as somebody having fun, and which I don't think they do back then. But you could have someone that was actually a hang up. They call 911 and hang up,
Right.
and then do it again.
Right.
That would have taken a greater gap in time but it was a steady 911, 911, 911
It was
that
accurate
went
to the
through.
millisecond with the dialing.
Yes, exactly,
So
exactly what it was.
so yeah, yeah, and if I was trying to do that intentionally, I would expect to be charged and do all the juvenile hall and all that stuff. But I wasn't trying to do that. I wasn't intentionally trying to take down their system.
No,
It was a
no,
complete
no. And your
accident.
science, you did well in school. People know what you were like in science and math and stuff like that, and
They
your
didn't.
curiosity.
They didn't.
But where was the empathy that I got? Being
None.
woken and none.
Just got a good story out of it. That's it.
Yeah, when you asked me to do this, I had to think back, and of course, I always remembered, and I've told the story many, many times. When things come up on, when people call hacking, and I said, well, sometimes there's inadvertent hacking or disruption to services that you can do in other ways. So that's it.
All right, Mom. Well, I appreciate it. I know. Thank you for doing this second call. I know we first scripted audio on the first one, but I think I got the second one now. So
Yeah, that's good. And then if I think of anything else I could tell stories on you, I will.
Of course you will.
Read about it on YouTube.
All right. Yeah. Well, you just I'll give you the link and share it with your friends. All right.
No. I'm going to do one on my own. Then I'll share it with you.
Okay, that sounds good. All right, Mom. I love you. Bye.
Okay, love you too. Bye bye.